Good evening, high school football fans. This is High School Football America for July the 18th. I'm Jeff Fisher, host of the show and founder and editor-in-chief of High School Football America and highschoolfootballamerica.com. We took a couple of weeks off, got all rested and re-energized. Hope everyone had a great 4th of July holiday weekend, and now we are ready to rock and roll our way into the 2013 high school football season with camps opening up at the end of this month. We're doing a 50 states in 50 days piece on highschoolfootballamerica.com, taking you to every state in the nation, getting you ready for the 2013 high school football season. I want to remind you that each and every week, High School Football America is made possible by our wonderful sponsors, starting with Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, and they appreciate you for tuning in each and every Thursday and letting us share these great high school football stories with you. And they want to remind you that, like football, Frosted Flakes is another passion that you can share with your kids. Dads, whenever you're sharing that passion with your children, why not do it over a bowl of Frosted Flakes? And be sure to go to highschoolfootballamerica.com and click on the ad. Upper right-hand side of the page there takes you to the Facebook page. Like Frosted Flakes on Facebook. They've got some great stuff they put up there throughout the week. Also brought to you tonight by the TDI Razor. If you have not checked out this product yet, athletes, you need to. This will keep that crumb rubber from field turf out of your shoes. And Razor is spelled R-A-Z-U-R. You can find them at tdirazor.com. And as a new sponsor, they're offering our listeners a special 20% discount by entering a code on their website. You can go to highschoolfootballamerica.com and learn the code right there on the right-hand side. And I'll tell it to you right now. It's HSFBARZR1. Again, that's TDI Razor. That's RAZUR.com, proud sponsor of High School Football America. Also brought to you tonight by Webleets. And you can go to Webleets.com to fill out your free student-athlete profile form. Their football combines are done, but Tim Curran and company always have something great at Webleets.com. Also brought to you tonight by the Maxwell Football Club. You can become a voting member by going to maxwellfootballclub.org. It is America's oldest football club, and you get to vote on the College Players of the Year and NFL Coach and Player of the Year. No other organization allows you to do that. Very, very cool. They put out their watch list last week. And you can find more about who's on the college football watch list for Player of the Year and where they played their high school football by going to highschoolfootball.com. Click on the News tab, and it'll take you to our national news page. That's the Maxwell Football Club at maxwellfootballclub.org. Excited tonight, two great guests, and I want to remind everyone before we tell you about our guests that you can take part in the conversation tonight. Just tweet us out at HSFB America on Twitter, and you can join the High School Football America social media family by going to highschoolfootballamerica.com. Top right-hand side of the page, you can click on the YouTube channel and subscribe. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, iTunes. Yes, you can take us on the go, as all you have to do is click on iTunes there, and every one of our 80-plus shows is available free for you, so you can listen on demand whenever you want. And remember, if you've ever missed any of the High School Football America shows, you can go to artistfirst.com's archive page for us there, artistfirst.com, High School Football America, right there, click on it, or if you want to just put in the URL, it's artistfirst.com/JeffFisher.htm. That's the way you can always listen to High School Football America, however, wherever, and whenever you want. Now, as far as our guest on the show tonight, we're going to make a stop in Arkansas, Shiloh Christian, a program that has had a lot of success over the years. Josh Floyd is the new head coach, and for the first time in his time as the head coach there, they did not make the playoffs last year as they head into the 10th year. That program really came to national prominence under Gus Malzahn, who's now the new head coach at Auburn. And we're going to talk to Josh Floyd about his program and hopefully return to excellence this year. And as you'll hear me mention with Josh, you know, it's winning is one thing, but the real test of character is when you hit those kind of speed bumps, if you will, and how you respond to them. So we're going to talk to him about that. And also on the show, from Pennsylvania, her name is Bridget Algeo-Letukas, and her father, Jim Algeo, coached for 44 years at Lansdale Catholic. He started the program there, and 4 decades later, he is now just retired. Last year was his first year not on the sidelines, and Bridget is building a documentary about her dad called Football Family. It's available on Kickstarter.com. We're going to tweet that out and how you can take part in it. But Lansdale Catholic, one of the truly great programs in southeastern Pennsylvania, a small private school outside of Philadelphia, and Coach Algeo, when he retired, 293 victories, 183 defeats, and 5 ties. But more importantly, it's the education and the upbringing that he gave all of his student athletes. So we're going to talk to Bridget Algeo-Letukas later on in the show. Time to take our first break. When we come back, we are going to the Sioux State, Arkansas. Going to talk a little Shiloh Christian football. That plus a whole lot more on the show tonight. You're listening to High School Football America, brought to you by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, and this is the Artist First Radio Network. Football players, listen up. I'm going to tell you about a great new product and a new sponsor here at High School Football America. And if you're one of those players that when you're playing on field turf, those nasty pieces of rubber get in your shoes and just annoy the heck out of you, well, there's a product out there that's going to take care of that. It is innovative and it's American-made. It's called the Debris Inhibitor Razor, and the razor is spelled R-A-Z-U-R. The Debris Inhibitor Razor is a seamless outer sock that was specifically designed to keep crumb rubber and other fine debris from artificial or grass playing fields out of the athlete's shoes and socks, thus keeping such debris also out of the gym bags and out of locker rooms. It's favorited by athletes who want that look of tape, by trainers who no longer have time to tape only for show, and of course by moms who no longer want that crumb rubber in their house. The Debris Inhibitor Razor at TDIRazor.com is made of 70% nylon and 30% spandex material, making it extra lightweight and very durable. It's backed by a 1-year performance guarantee, and like I said at the beginning, it is 100% American-made, and we love that at High School Football America. The Debris Inhibitor Razor covers just the right amount of a player's shoe while keeping shoelaces tight. It is fully customizable via screen print or embroidery, machine washable, and most important, it's easy to get on and off. The Debris Inhibitor Razor is available in black, white, and pink, and other colors may be specially ordered. Sizes are available from the youth level right up to that Bigfoot, the extra large shoe at 14 to 17. Founded in 2010 by former University of Mississippi All-SEC player Carl Hoppy Langley III and 3 other partners, Southern Sport Inc. created the Debris Inhibitor to improve athletic performance by protecting athletes, allowing them to look and feel better with technically advanced product engineering with superior fabric construction, patented design, and its proven innovation. That is the Debris Inhibitor Razor, a new sponsor here at High School Football America. We highly recommend you check them out at TDIRazor.com. That's razor spelled R-A-Z-U-R. When you contact them, mention you heard the ad on High School Football America. You'll be glad you did. This portion of High School Football America brought to you by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, remind you to share what you love with who you love. So dads, whenever you're sharing that passion for football, whether it's tossing the ball around or just talking about the game with your kids, make sure you do it over a bowl of Frosted Flakes. Get to start the show tonight in a state we've only been to, I think, one time before in the 2 years of having it on here, but we're very happy to have this head coach on the show right now. Josh Floyd is the head coach at Shiloh Christian in northwest Arkansas, in Springdale. He has built that program from the, not necessarily the ground floor up, but since he's taken over, he's been able to have it rise as far as in the national scope. He was also the quarterback at the school back in the day, and we'll talk about the heyday when he was tossing the ball over the yard and breaking national records. But Josh Floyd is here to talk about the Saints. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Thanks a lot, Jeff. I appreciate you allowing me to be on here.
Well, it's always good to have coaches on that have kind of matriculated up the ladder, and I do want to talk about your time there and how it kind of meshes in with you being the head coach. But let's set the tone for the listeners around the nation. You guys have had some national publicity, finding your way into national rankings. Tell us a little bit about the school and how sports fits into the school itself.
We have. We've been fortunate to have some success here, and it really goes back to even before I was here, and Coach Gus Malzahn kind of put this program on the map, and he's obviously the head coach at Auburn now, so he's kind of big name now, but this is where he kind of started, and these were where his roots were, and so when I took the head coaching job here 8 or 9 years ago, my goal was to just try to keep moving this program forward and hopefully make it one of those national names, and we've been able to do that to an extent, and so. But we are a private Christian school in Springdale, Arkansas, and we, all of Northwest Arkansas. I mean, there's a little over 250,000 people here between Springdale, right next to Fayetteville, which is with the home of the University of Arkansas, and so it's a great area to live. And as far as our school goes, we are a Christian school, and you actually go kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, and so most of our kids are here their entire life, and it's a great school that really concentrates on the spiritual side of things, and also academically. We've had some great accomplishments by our students. And then on the athletic side, we definitely believe that athletics is one of those tools that can prepare you for life and teach you how to be a part of a team and teach you obviously about discipline and hard work and all those great things. So our school is a huge supporter of our athletics. Obviously, we like to win, and we want to win championships in every sport, and we've been fortunate in a lot of sports to do that, but that's still not the only goal in the end. I mean, we really want to try to prepare our student athletes for the rest of their life.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere online when preparing, I think overall all the sports programs, you're well over 30 state championships, so that's nice. And just to give the listeners an idea of what you've done there, because you're not going to, brag, but the numbers are pretty darn solid. 93 victories, 25 losses, 4 state titles. They speak for themselves. Josh Floyd is on the line with us tonight from Shiloh Christian here on High School Football America, talking about the program in Northwest Arkansas. And before we get into this year, let's kind of dial it back a little bit and what it means to you as an alum. A young man that was there for a couple of state championships under Coach Malzahn, and the fact that you were able to break some national records. What does it mean to you personally to be able to kind of take a legacy from being a quarterback into a coach leading a great program in the state?
Well, it's definitely something that's pretty special to me, and I think obviously it helped me probably get the job when I got the job at a young age. So, if I hadn't played here and been the quarterback, that probably changed that wouldn't have happened, but. We definitely have a lot of pride in our program, and I was fortunate to kind of be there with Coach Malzahn kind of when we started this no huddle offensive system, and that's kind of where it was invented here, and so it's fun to watch what he's been able to do even at the college level, but back on Shiloh, it's a great place, and actually our defensive coordinator here at Shiloh, Dwayne Hudson, he's another guy that is an alumni here and was actually played left tackle for me growing up. So you have him, and then our offensive coordinator, we just recently promoted him as Austin Tucker, who's a guy that actually played at the University of Arkansas, but also played here under me in my first few years here, was the MVP of the state championship game, and so we now have 3 coaches on staff, and so it was just something that special about that, and obviously it means a lot to us, and it's not just a job to us, it's something that's pretty special, and we have a lot of great memories, and our goal is we want to try to give these kids the same type of experience that we had here, and hopefully send them out to do some great positive things in the world.
Well, the bottom line is family usually in high school football, and it sounds like you guys have that. We're talking with Josh Floyd tonight, Shiloh Christian in Arkansas. Going to talk about the 2013 season coming up. Something happened last year that you're not used to. No playoffs, a 4-6 record. Like I said before that, the record stands on its own. So let's talk about some of the lessons learned when you go through that. They always say, winning's easy, improving when it's like that. But when you hit a bump here or there, it's a test of everyone. So what'd you guys learn, and what are you working on as you head into 2013?
Sure, and that's definitely a learning season. It's one of those seasons you don't really want to go through and don't really care to learn some of those lessons at times. It's not the fun part. That was the first time that I've really ever experienced anything like that. And we can make excuses or whatever. I mean, the truth is we were a pretty young football team. We only had the smallest senior class since I've been here. We had 6 guys playing. We played at the 5A level, which is a pretty high level here in Arkansas, and that's our school is not that size, but that's kind of where we ended up playing. So, and we're used to that. We've always played bigger schools, and so we try not to make excuses. They're just for times that we didn't get it done. We lost a lot of close games. It was one of those seasons where you could say 8 to 10 plays away from being 7-3 or 8-2, and maybe you're making the playoff run. So, but yeah, I tell you what it does. I mean, it really refocuses you, and it allows you to kind of get back to the basics. And hey, this is how we got our program at this level, and now these are the things we're going to get back to. And I think it definitely gave our kids a great desire and a great hunger for success, because we were pretty fortunate. We went to 5 straight state championship games, won 4 of the 5, lost one in overtime, or else we'd have had 5 in a row. And so a lot of these kids, they have these big fat state championship rings. And so, as a coach, that's one thing you always worry about is you want them to stay motivated. And and I'm not saying our kids weren't, but I just think there's a little bit extra there this year to prove that type of season's not acceptable here, and we don't want that to happen at all in the future.
Let's talk a little, both sides of the ball. Let's start on the offense. You said you had a young team last year, so that means you probably have some experience coming back. And I also saw on offense, now I don't know if this young man's going to play, but I saw that Max Preps touted a young 9th grade quarterback. And we can get into recruiting and all that. But anyway, somebody put a pool sign on his back, I guess at 24/7. But tell us a little bit about your offense and what you expect out of that, and then we'll flip over to the defense.
Sure, that's great. We actually do have an 9th grade quarterback. His name's Seth Aganavi. That's going to be a really special player. It's kind of funny. He's already getting some publicity. He won't play on our varsity this year. He'll play in 9th grade, but he is going to be a special one. We've been fortunate to have a lot of great quarterbacks come through this school. So I'm a lot better coach when we have a great quarterback. I can tell you that.
You're really smart.
that helps all of us. But on our offensive side of the ball, we have 8 starters back. We're really excited about. We got some guys up front. We've kind of been young up front for 2 years in a row, so we have 4 or 5 starters back there. We are replacing our quarterback. We had this interesting situation. Daniel Shimmer is a kid that was going into last fall. He was going to be our starting quarterback. Ended up getting hurt the first week of August, broke his ankle. It was a tough break for us, because we had put all our offense had been scaled around him to try to adjust our offense a little bit. He's a 4.4 40 guy, sprint out kind of quarterback, and obviously be a threat running the football. So we kind of tailored our offense to him, and then he ended up getting hurt, and we had to adjust that. We had a quarterback come through. Casey Paraday had a great year for us, threw for over 2,000 yards and played really well. But it was a totally different type of offense. He was more of your typical drop back quarterback, and so Daniel missed most of the season, got to come back late, and so we're excited to start with him this year. I mean, he's right now he's one of the quarterback, and we also have another kid, Dylan Sharp, who's a senior at quarterback, and Dylan's a guy that's come through the program, and he's improved as much as anybody I've ever seen improve over 2 years, and Dylan's playing really well right now. I think both those guys will help us win football games and give us a chance to win. Skill-wise, we have some good guys in the backfield. We've got Chris Cox, who'll be a senior, he's going to kind of be that guy we put in the backfield. We put him at slot receiver, move him around a lot, and we're looking for him to have a breakout year. And then Chandler Smith will really be our main tailback, and he's a guy that actually started for us as a 9th grader. He's going to be a junior this year, and just looking for big things from him. Kyle Plunkett is a receiver this year that we're excited about. He's about 6'2", 190, runs in the 4.5s, and just a big tall kid that that this is a college prospect for us. And then Jared Moore is another one. Jared Moore is another guy that started a few games for us as a freshman. He's going to be a junior this year. So it's a lot of kids there, but I feel like we have some guys that can give us some weapons, and we need a little more depth up front. We're really excited about the guys we have. What we've got to do the next month before the season starts is try to develop a few more guys up front, because we are pretty thin up there, and so we're trying to get that fixed.
Talking with Josh Floyd tonight, head coach at Shiloh Christian in Arkansas, talking about the Saints in the 2013 season. Before we get to the defense, let's talk a little bit about the offense when you were there, and obviously what you had back in that day was kind of cutting edge. It's 15 years ago, not to make you feel old, but how has the offense evolved? Is it the same basic thing you were running back in the late 90s?
Well, it's definitely similar. I think the philosophy is the biggest thing that's the same, and that is we're going to run a fast-paced, hurry-up, no huddle, and we're going to try to wear down the defense. And when we put it in years ago, then the same thing now. The goal is when you're playing somebody that is more talented than you, and they do have more speed than you, hopefully you can wear them down at the end of the game. There's a lot of teams that have that same philosophy in the game of basketball, and it's really pretty similar type of idea. The plays, the concepts, those things. I mean, obviously those things change at times. The greatest thing about this offense, and this is why I've always thought that Coach Malzahn has gone on to the next level and been successful, is it does great. It allows you to get the ball wherever you get the ball to, and you can adjust it accordingly each and every year without having to change your entire offense. And I think that's a big key for us is we've had the quarterbacks that have thrown for 4,000 yards, 5,000 yards, and we've had the quarterback that throws for a couple thousand and then he runs for 1,000. So I think it's an easy way to adjust to your personnel and tailor that to your system.
Let's talk about the defense. Obviously, you can score a lot of points, but if you can't stop anybody, it doesn't matter. So who do you have on the defensive side of the ball that you're looking for some leadership from this year?
Sure. We have around 9 or 10 guys back, really more than that at least started a few games for us last season. So we're excited about that. We made a change last year to a little bit more of a 3-4 scheme, and traditionally it had been a 4-3, but just the personnel that we had and the type of offenses that we're seeing, we tried to move a little bit more of a 3-4 and move some people around. So we're really going to start up front, defensive line. I think that's going to make or break you a lot of times on defense. And we've got some guys back there, Matt Hanson and Ben Burke, our 2 defensive ends, and those guys were big players for us last year, and we were excited to have them. They're both seniors. Matt Hanson's one of the strongest kids in the weight room. Ben Burke's a big 6'2", 6'3" guy that plays basketball and real athletic off the edge. And so we're hoping both those guys can really carry us from their defensive line position. We've got a lot of guys playing nose guard right now. Lucas Waffle is a guy, big 300-pound kid that we have that is going to be a junior next fall. So we've got a lot of guys that are rotating in at nose. As far as our linebackers go, we got several of those guys back. Alan King is one guy that's a senior. We're really excited about coming back as outside linebacker. Kyle Plunkett, the guy that I mentioned earlier, actually plays. He was one of those few guys that played both ways for us last year. Big, fast guy off the edge. Nick Gukin is going to be a senior for us next year. He was our third leading tackler last year. Had around 75 tackles as a junior, and so Nick's one of those guys. He's sold out, and he's a great leader for us, and we're excited to have him there. Jonathan Loska, I'd say him at safety. He had over 100 tackles at the safety position last year, and was our second leading tackler. We're really excited to have him there. We have a lot of guys in the secondary that we feel good about. Matthew Solomon is a guy that not only will play DB, but he'll also play receiver. I think he'll be really big for us. He returned a kickoff 97 yards for a touchdown last year, so he's one of our speed guys. Reed Lowe is going to be a big player for us on both sides of the ball, but he started at corner last year, and he'll probably start there again this season. So I think he's going to be a pretty special player for us. Daniel Schimmer, like I said, our quarterback, he ended up playing defense last year later in the season because we just were trying to get him in the game. And he's a guy that we could use at times. We obviously don't want to use our quarterback there, and we'll try not to ever be my goal, never one play. But I think, when it gets to crunch time and there's some big games, I think he's a guy that could do that because he's he's a 190-pound kid running a 4.4, and so there's not a lot of those guys walking around here. So there's a chance we could use him at some point during the season at the safety position.
Talking with Josh Floyd tonight on High School Football America, head coach at Shiloh Christian in Northwest Arkansas, Springdale. And let's wrap up. I know you guys took part in the Southwest Elite 7-on-7 showcase, looking for that buy into to Hoover. You guys did not get there, but I wanted to talk more about 7-on-7s, their evolution. Obviously, they're getting bigger and bigger, but I tend to think, and this is just my philosophy, and I wanted to get your take on it, is obviously with your offense being like it is, I would think 7-on-7 is good. If you're a running team, maybe not so much. So what's your philosophy on using 7-on-7s, and how much of an indication does it give you for the upcoming season?
Sure. Well, I think 7-on-7 is a great tool. Sometimes it's a silly game, and it can be, I think it depends on how you use it. We've always had the philosophy that we're going to run our offense and we're going to run our defense as much as we can. There may be a few adjustments for 7-on-7 because you have to, but we're really not one of those teams. I think some teams do that. They just run a lot of 7-on-7 plays and do things that aren't their true offense or defense. Mm-hmm. And we try to stay away from that just because at the end of the day they don't give trophies or rings for 7-on-7 tournaments, and we're trying to look for the fall and get better for the fall. This weekend we did participate in the Southwest Elite. That's something that I started here 5 years ago, and it's grown into a great event. Had over 32 teams from across the country, and we had 10 different states involved, and so it was really exciting. There's some great talent on this field this past weekend, and as far as how we played, we actually played really well. We lost about 3 or 4 games there at the very end of the game, and those are the things I told our kids. We've got to figure out how to win those games at the end, and that's what we're going to try to learn from. I mean, 7-on-7 is not real football, and so it's it doesn't make or break you how you do 7-on-7, but we at least can learn how to compete, and we can learn how to try to win those games there at the end. And so that's the biggest value we get from it. We are going to Hoover. We already had a automatic invitation.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
So we actually, that's fine. So we actually are still going to go there and compete, and we're excited about that. And how it correlates to the season, Jeff. I mean, we've seen it both ways. We've gone down there and competed well, then maybe not have the season we wanted to. Then one of our better teams we've ever had went down there and only won 2 or 3 games just because we didn't play very well that weekend. And we had a couple kids hurt. They came back and won the state championship. So I mean, I think it's just a hit or miss type situation. And with all the teams, you never know who's hurt, who's really taking it serious, and all that. So, but at the end of the day, it's a great measure of competition, and that's why all the coaches love it. I think because you're out here in the middle of July, you can't play real football, and so this is a great way to make your kids compete, get in better shape, and just learn.
Nothing wrong with standing out in the sunshine in the summer and playing a little football, even if it's without all the pads. Well, Josh, right. we wish you the best of luck in 2013. We really appreciate you spending some time here educating our listeners about your program, and hopefully 2013 is everything you want it to be.
Yes, sir. We hope so. Thanks so much, Jeff, for having us on, and we appreciate all that you guys do for high school football.
Well, thank you very much. Josh Floyd, head coach at Shiloh Christian. You can check out more at shilohchristianfootball.com. Taking a break, coming back, looking at news from around the nation from the week that was. You're listening to High School Football America, brought to you by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes on the Artist First Radio Network. Parents and student athletes, listen up as we talk to you right now about NCSA athletic recruiting. Parents, you know how hard it is to find and get a scholarship for your son or daughter to play in college, especially one that fits his or her athletic and academic abilities and needs. Tonight I'm telling you about NCSA Athletic Recruiting, America's premier company that's here to help you. NCSA Athletic Recruiting helps parents and their student athletes connect with the right schools, and when it comes to college football, no company is better than NCSA Athletic Recruiting. NCSA Athletic Recruiting works with all 800 college football programs, and NCSA knows which colleges are looking for what when it comes to the measurables, grades, and test scores. Bottom line, NCSA Athletic Recruiting knows which college coaches are looking for what. If your child is qualified, NCSA Athletic Recruiting can match him or her to all the schools that need players. To learn more, go to the homepage of High School Football America at highschoolfootballamerica.com or highschoolfootball.com and click on the NCSA Athletic Recruiting banner that's on the right side of the page, and you'll get a free profile for your child. That's NCSA Athletic Recruiting, a proud sponsor of High School Football America. Welcome back to highschoolfootballamerica.com, brought to you by the TDI Razor. Again, go to TDI Razor, that's RAZUR.com. 20% discount. You get that coupon code by going to highschoolfootballamerica.com. Well, we were off for a couple of weeks, as I mentioned at the top of the show, and going into the little hiatus we had, we talked about some of the big events taking place up in Nike Land in Oregon with the Elite 11, the quarterback competition, and also the opening. And coming out of that Elite 11 at the head of the class was Sean White, the head coach this year at University School in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He is the guy that impressed everyone, and yesterday, well, he made his college decision. as far as his verbal is concerned. And if you just are tuning in right now, we just spoke with Josh Floyd, the head coach at Shiloh Christian in Northwest Arkansas. And if you missed that interview, one of the things that Josh talked about was the beginning of that program when it really came into national prominence under then head coach Gus Malzahn. Well, Gus is now the new head football coach at Auburn, as he's been able to work his way up quite quickly, I might add. And he got some great news earlier this week when Sean White, yes, the guy that is the Elite 11 quarterback top dog this year, he announced that Auburn is his verbal choice. And last year, White threw for 2,900 yards, 35 touchdowns. He was at Chaminade Madonna in Hollywood, Florida. He's now transferred to the university school, but Gus Malzahn taking a kind of a nice little nugget into the SEC Media Days, which was held yesterday in Hoover, Alabama. And speaking of top dogs out there, 24/7 after the opening has changed its list of top players as far as the class of 2014. And one guy that had a big time at the opening at Nike World Headquarters in Beaverton, Oregon, was West Monroe, Louisiana High School, 5-star offensive tackle Cameron Robinson. He just got it done. 6'5", 330 pounds. He had been the top lineman over the last year in the country, but after his performance at the opening, he went from the number 5 overall prospect, according to 247sports.com, and he is now the number 1 ranked prospect in America out of West Monroe, Louisiana. And Louisiana has quite a few players at the top of the list, 2 to be exact, and we wrote a little bit of story and showed some video of this next young man who's ranked number 2 by 247 Sports on highschoolfootballamerica.com. His name is Leonard Fournette at St. Augustine High School, 6-foot running back, 225 pounds. He is ranked number 2. Number 3 on the latest 247sports.com recruiting rankings is Jabril Peppers out of Paramus Catholic in Paramus, New Jersey. He has already given his verbal to Michigan. He will probably play in the secondary there, but a great running back for Paramus Catholic. One of the reasons many believe that Paramus Catholic is one of the top teams in the country this year. Number 4 on the latest 247sports.com rankings, Lorenzo Carter out of Norcross High School in Norcross, Georgia. The defensive end, 6'5", 232 pounds. He is number 4, and number 5 is Andrew Brown out of Oscar Smith High School in Chesapeake, Virginia. The defensive tackle has already given his verbal to Virginia. Again, go to 247sports.com to check out the latest rankings from them. And this weekend we'll wrap up the last qualifier for the National Select 7-on-7 Championships that will be held in Hoover, Alabama later this month. Last year, the host team, the Hoover Bucks, were the champs, and it's kind of funny if you look at all of the champions going back to when this National Select 7-on-7 began in 2001. Alabama truly has kind of the upper hand there on it, and as a matter of fact, it has been 4 Alabama teams in a row that have won the National Select 7-on-7 Championships. You heard Josh Floyd of Shiloh Christian talk earlier. They did not win their qualifier, but they get an automatic berth into it. And right now, we've got 2 more spots to be filled. The Georgia State qualifier will be held this weekend, tomorrow and Saturday, and a great list of teams. You can go and learn them at select7on7.com. Teams from all around the country vying for that national championship. Again, select7on7.com to find out the teams that are in the tournament. Going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about a family that has just been eating, sleeping, drinking, and coaching football for over 4 decades. It's called Football Family, the documentary. It's on Kickstarter. It's about Lansdale Catholic and its legendary coach, now retired for 1 year, Jim Algeo. Bridget Algeo-Letukas, his daughter, putting together a documentary. And we're going to talk to Bridget when we come back. You're listening to High School Football America on the Artist First Radio Network. Football players, listen up. going to tell you about a great new product and a new sponsor here at High School Football America. And if you're one of those players that when you're playing on field turf, those nasty pieces of rubber get in your shoes and just annoy the heck out of you, well, there's a product out there that's going to take care of that. It is innovative and it's American made. It's called the Debris Inhibitor Razor, and the razor is spelled R-A-Z-U-R. The Debris Inhibitor Razor is a seamless outer sock that was specifically designed to keep crumb rubber and other fine debris from artificial or grass playing fields out of the athlete's shoes and socks, thus keeping such debris also out of the gym bags and out of locker rooms. It's favorited by athletes who want that look of tape, by trainers who no longer have time to tape only for show, and of course by moms who no longer want that crumb rubber in their house. The Debris Inhibitor Razor at TDIRazor.com is made of 70% nylon and 30% spandex material, making it extra lightweight and very durable. It's backed by a 1-year performance guarantee, and like I said at the beginning, it is 100% American-made, and we love that at High School Football America. The Debris Inhibitor Razor covers just the right amount of a player's shoe while keeping shoelaces tight. It is fully customizable via screen print or embroidery, machine washable, and most important, it's easy to get on and off. The Debris Inhibitor Razor is available in black, white, and pink, and other colors may be specially ordered. Sizes are available from the youth level right up to that big foot, the extra large shoe at 14 to 17. Founded in 2010 by former University of Mississippi All-SEC player Carl Hoppy Langley III and 3 other partners, Southern Sport Inc. created the Debris Inhibitor to improve athletic performance by protecting athletes, allowing them to look and feel better with technically advanced product engineering with superior fabric construction, patented design, and its proven innovation. That is the Debris Inhibitor Razor, a new sponsor here at High School Football America. We highly recommend you check them out at TDIRazor.com. That's razor spelled R-A-Z-U-R. When you contact them, mention you heard the ad on High School Football America. You'll be glad you did. This portion of High School Football America brought to you by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, reminding you to share what you love with who you love. And that means, dads, whenever you're sharing your love of sports. Football, basketball, field, it doesn't matter. Whenever you're sharing it with the kids, do it over a bowl of Frosted Flakes. And we're going to talk about a family that has a lot of football passion here in just a couple of seconds, but I have to set the stage. The first thing I always have to say is when I get to go back to Pennsylvania, I'm a happy boy. So we're going to go there right now. We're going to talk about one of the legendary coaches in the state. He retired back after the 2011 season with almost 300 victories, a state championship at Lansdale Catholic. His name is Jim Algeo, and he had 9 kids, he and his wife, Mickey, 6 girls, 3 boys. I actually covered John Algeo back in the mid-'90s there, and it's just an incredible program. And recently, Wendy Badman, a good friend of our show out of the Philadelphia area, contacted me and said, Jeff, you got to talk to Bridget Algeo-Letukas. She is doing a documentary called Football Family, and of course we know how popular football documentaries are becoming, especially after Undefeated wins the Oscar a couple of years back, and we did have Dan Lindsay and TJ Martin, the directors, on the show just before they won the gold. So we take credit for that. And what we're going to try and do today is tell you about this documentary that's up on Kickstarter, which is Kickstarter.com. For those of you that don't know, Kickstarter.com is a crowdsourcing way for filmmakers to get films made. And Bridget has put together a trailer for this documentary called Football Family. And she's on the line right now to talk about it, how you can get involved. And we're going to try and get this documentary made. Welcome to the show, Bridget.
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's always good, like I said, to go back home. And, I know where Lansdale is. It's a suburban community outside of Philadelphia. There's a great public school program there, North Penn, that we've talked about on the program. But let's kind of set the scene before we get into the documentary itself about Lansdale Catholic, the school, how football fits into the school, into the fabric of the school, and how the Algeo family for 44 years was kind of at the heart and soul, maybe the heart of football at Lansdale Catholic.
Well, sure. Like you said, Lansdale is a great little community. We have so much going on there. We have a newspaper, we have a radio station, and like you said, we have North Penn High School. They have a wonderful football program. My dad actually started at Lansdale Catholic in 1968. And when he came, it was his first head coaching job and his only head coaching job. He had been an assistant at places like Cardinal Dougherty and Sun Valley and Pencrest. And when he came to Lansdale Catholic, he started what's called the rare breed tradition. And our family has really just been a part of that, and so many families have been a part of that throughout the Lansdale community and other areas as well. Quakertown, Percy, Souderton. So, yeah, it's a great school, a great community, and the football program has really just been a big part of that.
And your dad did such a wonderful job, and listeners out there, I can personally speak for my interactions with Coach Algeo, and wow, not your, he could yell and scream, but I mean, when you dealt with him, it was all about the kids, it was all about the program, the school, and all of those things. Class act, a Hall of Fame coach. We're talking with Bridget Algeo-Letukas tonight. We're going to be tweeting out here and also putting up on Facebook the link to Football Family and how you can get involved and donate and get this documentary made. So let's get to the documentary. Football Family, where does it come from? What's the genesis of the idea?
It began actually as a fiction manuscript a couple years ago, not long after the 2004 state title. And in that manuscript, there were a couple of things that were, part of my dad's career there at that point. It was about 40 years, so I took some highlights out of it, put it in a fictitious account, and then it occurred to me a couple years later that the real story was actually better, that to tell the story of the rare breed of Lansdale and my dad's coaching career in a nonfiction way. So I had written a manuscript, and that was pretty much completed when I started pitching that and looking long term. I had consulted one of my dad's former players. He is actually a DeSales University film professor, Mike Wagner, and I asked him, how would I go about writing a screenplay down the road, just thinking long term. And he actually came to me at my father's last game and recommended that we go ahead with a documentary idea for the short term. It seemed like a practical way to go and the wisest way to go. And it really is a great high school football story. We would have a lot of people we would be able to interview who had memories fresh in their minds, and we would be able to have access to a lot of the video and images that we would need. So it seemed like the smartest idea, and ever since then, I've just been hooked on it and pursuing it.
It's a passion. We're talking with Bridget Algeo-Letukas. The documentary up on Kickstarter at Kickstarter.com is Football Family. Again, we'll be tweeting out the link here throughout the show and throughout the week. Get involved. The fundraising ends August 2nd, but if you don't hit the goals, I know you're going to keep pushing forward, and we're going to be here to help you do that, Bridget. Let's one of the interviews that I saw in one of the I think it might have been in the trailer or something else, or a couple of different things that I've been watching preparing for this interview, is you said you weren't the biggest football fan when you were 5 years old. It kind of was interrupting your cartoon watching, I believe you said. Do you remember the first time when you said, hey, you know what, this ain't bad?
I'm not sure the first time. I know, yes, what you say is true. I remember, being in kindergarten and thinking my Saturday mornings would consist of 2 or 3 bowls of cereal, being in my pajamas, watching, 7 a.m. to noon cartoons. If we had a Friday night game, that happened. If we didn't, my mom would typically, interrupt the cartoon watching, put us in the car, and we would go. At that time, a lot of the games were quite a distance away. So, over an hour. I would say when I saw how excited, game after game, how excited people got about the program and the players and the types of seasons that we were having, I think it just kind of grew on me. I really can't pinpoint one particular game or moment. I know it definitely helped to see like an undefeated 1972 team. A couple of years later, I watched my brother's team win a very exciting championship game. So I think it just grew on me over time.
Now, three brothers. Like I said, there were 9 of you, 6 girls, 3 boys. All 3 played football. All of them went into coach. I think John went into coaching too, right? Am I not mistaken?
Yes, he did.
So you got 3 boys played for Dad, go on to coaching. So again, football family makes a lot of sense in the title. Tell me what it was like to be a young lady in the family watching Dad coach up the boys.
Well, actually, I think that my personal experience with high school football is that the women in the family and the women in the families of the players even seem to become some of the most intense fans. So it was great watching my brothers. I was proud of all of them. They all contributed. My brother Jim in the 70s, Dan in the 80s, John in the 90s. And then to watch them progress into really great coaches, just been really awesome. My sisters and I, we actually were statisticians on the sidelines. Mm-hmm. So we had the best seats in the house and really just enjoyed being part of the program.
Talking with Bridget Algeo-Letukas tonight. Football family, it's about Lansdale Catholic outside of Philadelphia. They used to be in a league called the Pac-10 that had a lot of public schools and just a couple of private schools. They're now in the Philadelphia Catholic League. You can go to Kickstarter.com. Again, we're tweeting it out here through the show. Links to how you can donate and get involved and crowdsource and get this documentary done. Before we get into your thoughts on Dad, we'll stick with the female theme right now because we've done in 2 years over 80 shows, and one of my favorite questions for coaches, and we've had some of the best just like your dad on here, is it's not like the wife is in the background and okay, when you come home, honey, the food will be on the table. Let's talk about your mom a little bit and her role, especially knowing that your dad was there starting a program that, when you build a program from the ground up, man, everybody's involved. So tell me a little bit about your remembrances of your mom and in the program and how she helped build this with your dad.
Well, she definitely did, and she was definitely not in the background. And it does take a special person to be the wife of a high school football coach, and my mom is certainly that. At one point, she drove the bus. She baked cake for the parent event. She cooked hundreds of hot dogs for alumni games. She painted patches and stars every week. At one point, she was washing all the uniforms. So she was very integral. Supportive emotionally as well. You have a husband who might lose a game on a Friday night, and the rest of the weekend you're not going to see the man who was, smiling back at you on your wedding day. He's going to be sort of, taking in the loss and digesting it and trying to find a way to get past that. So it does take a very special person to be the wife of a coach, particularly a high school football coach. And my mom did a great job fulfilling that role.
So now, as the kind of the leader of this documentary, Football Family, about Lansdale Catholic, the Crusaders, obviously you know your dad pretty well. You've been there since the beginning with him. The question I think that would be interesting to hear the answer to is: have you discovered anything about your dad in this process as you're building it and asking people for photos and to do interviews? Have you learned anything that you didn't know, and what would that be if that's the case?
I can say at this point that is true. I feel once we start conducting the interviews, which we're slated to start any day, I think that's when I'm going to hear some things, other perspectives of my dad's coaching career or their impressions of him or the things that, he impacted on them. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to hear, the things that may be surprising to me.
What is the one thing that you would like to see? Obviously, you got to have arcs in a documentary, and for the listeners that don't know what that is, you kind of bring storylines together and build. What is the main message you want to have delivered about your dad?
I would really like to share the fact that my dad impacted so many lives doing his passion, what he wanted to do. And that really started in the home. He impacted, the lives of his family. And then, day after day, he went out into a small plot of grass and, did his thing for 44 years. And I think that whether you're, in a courtroom or in a classroom, in a cubicle, you can impact people's lives. I think the fact that my dad had a very exciting backdrop of high school football, helped sort of bring him a little bit more notoriety, at least in our area. We may not always see, the fruition of our labor, the seeds that we plant. But I think making a difference, just, day by day, doing what he loved. And in that came so many really wonderful stories. As I said, we are a football family, and by that I mean, all the players and their families that were a part of this. And we experienced great times, we experienced rough times, celebrations, losses, everything that goes along with being a family. So I think really, those two things are the most important themes of the project.
It's called Football Family, the documentary about Lansdale Catholic, suburban Philadelphia. We're talking with Bridget Algeo-Letukas on High School Football America tonight. You can check out the project on Kickstarter.com. We will be tweeting out a link so you can go there and learn about how you can donate and be a part of this wonderful project. 2012, the first season without Coach Algeo on the sidelines at Lansdale Catholic. Tell us a little bit about what it was like to not have him there, and what did Dad go through? That had to be a huge transition.
It was a big transition. I think that he could still coach. He mentally has the ability to still coach. But I think it was time physically for him, and he needed to retire and turn the reins over to someone else, which is now Tom Kirk, who's doing a great job. So, I think the transition was eased by the fact that, he spends more time with my mom. He goes to grandchildren's events, games and recitals and things of that nature. And it helps to have a Matlock marathon on here or there. So I think that he's adjusted pretty well. He's still very excited about high school football. It's just something that he loves.
Mm-hmm. Talking with Bridget Algeo-Letukas again, Football Family, the documentary. If you're just tuning in right now, Coach Algeo, Jim Algeo, what a career. Just a few wins shy of 300 in his career. The mark that I think I found was 293, 183, and 5. A 2004 to a Pennsylvania State Championship. You mentioned the undefeated season in 1972. But let's talk about 2004. Dad is approaching, I guess, 70 years old at that point, and along comes a state championship. What was that like?
It was so exciting. I remember starting the playoffs and sort of being a little bit distant from it as far as, okay, we're going to win a game or two, just like usual. You get so far in. I didn't really realize at the time that we were a state championship team. And I've never classified myself as a football expert. I've always said I'm a football enthusiast. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of interesting to see week after week, wow, we beat this team, we beat that team, and a lot of them very handily. So the excitement just kept generating over time. So I'll never forget when Matt Mineta intercepted during the Littlestown games in the semifinal, and I really just burst into tears knowing we're going to Hershey. Like, this is what that play meant. That kind of sealed the deal, and it was just so exciting. It's really, really hard to describe, but it was a great time. We were really blessed to have that experience, particularly because my dad had major surgery the year before, and we weren't even certain that he was going to be coaching again. So that was really special.
That's a neat way to have it come to a close here, this interview on High School Football America. Bridget, we wish you nothing but success. We're going to do as much as we can here on our social media to get people aware of it, and best of luck. And down the road, we want to do as much once it's finished and get it out there and really pay tribute to not only your dad, but the Lansdale Catholic community. So thank you so much, and best of luck.
And thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Bridget Algeo-Letukas. Again, it's called Football Family, the documentary. You can go online at High School Football America to learn more about it. We'll put up some links to Kickstarter on our social media. If you can, find a way to help out these football documentaries there's more and more coming down. They're great because it really does what we try to do here at High School Football America, which is tell the story of America through the lens of high school football. Taking a break, coming back to wrap up the show. You're listening to High School Football America, brought to you by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes on the Artist First Radio Network.
GTM Sportswear is proud to sponsor outstanding student athletes through the Athlete of the Month program with the National High School Coaches Association. For any sport or any season, GTM has your team covered from practice to performance with uniforms, warm-ups, practice wear, fan apparel, and more. Go online to gtmsportswear.com and find a sales representative in your area for a one-on-one consultation. With dependable apparel at the right price, outfitting your team has never been easier with GTM Sportswear.
Time to wrap things up here on High School Football America. I want to thank all of our sponsors on tonight's show, starting with Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. They appreciate you for tuning in each and every Thursday here on High School Football America, allowing us to share these great high school football stories with you. And they want to remind you that, like football, Frosted Flakes is another passion that you can share with your kids, dads, whenever you're sharing that passion. Make sure you do it with your kids over a bowl of Frosted Flakes. Also brought to you tonight by the TDI Razor, 20% discount. Go to TDIRazor.com. That's R-A-Z-U-R, the debris inhibitor razor. If you're a listener of High School Football America or just a reader of the website, go to the website. There's a coupon code there for a 20% discount on your order. Keep those rubber crumbs from field turf out of your shoes. The code to get a 20% discount is HSFBARZR1. That's TDIRazor, RAZUR.com. Also brought to you tonight by Webleets.com. Fill out your free profile at Webleets.com. And we're brought to you tonight by the Maxwell Football Club. Become a voting member for just $35 at MaxwellFootballClub.org. Your vote can be heard and make a difference when it comes to the voting at the end of the year for the College Players of the Year and the NFL, the Pro Coach and Player of the Year as well. I want to thank both of our guests on the show tonight, Josh Floyd, Shiloh Christian in Northwest Arkansas, and Bridget Algeo-Letukas. You can learn more about her documentary about her dad, who was a 44-year head coach at Lansdale Catholic outside of Philadelphia, and you can donate by going to Kickstarter.com, and that's how you learn more about Football Family, the documentary. I want to thank Corey King in Ohio. Always does a great job of keeping this show running so smoothly. And I want to thank you for tuning in each and every week. We're coming up on our 2-year anniversary, and you guys have just made this a very, very special show. If you missed any of the shows in the past, please go to artistfirst.com. We have all of our archived shows there for you. You can listen free and on demand. Subscribe to us also. iTunes. Take us on the go on your iPhone, your iPad, whatever it may be. You can do that by just going to highschoolfootballamerica.com. Top of the page, join the entire family of social media things that we have going for you at highschoolfootballamerica.com. For now, this is Jeff Fisher saying good night and good sports from Laguna Beach in sunny Southern California. You've been listening to High School Football America on the Artist First Radio Network.